Hey guys, I am DM Zone. This is Gamers Oasis. We're gonna roll some stats. Okay, so in Dungeons and Dragons, there's about 13 different ways you can roll stats. There's a whole bunch of them. I'm going to go over a bunch of these, a baker's dozen, shall we say, to kind of give you an idea. And some of these are going to be very, very similar. So I'm going to just kind of point out some differences between them. All right, so we have 3d6. That means we come here and we go, I have a 13. So I'm going to put a 13 down here. And then I do it again. I have a 12. And we do that again. And we have an 8. And we have a 9. Then we have a 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is what you always end up with, is having to make sure you don't do this too many times. And then we have our GIMP stack at 6. So we'll come over here. We'll put our 13 in strength. We'll put our 12 in dexterity. And our con, we're going to put our 10, so at least we can make sort of a melee class. And then we'll have our 6 in intelligence because it doesn't matter as much. We'll put our 8 in wisdom and our 9 in charisma to get the ladies. And that's how you would figure out dice rolling in some of the extreme early editions. Now, this is not only in that edition, but that is just straight 3d6. Then after 3d6, then you have probably the worst one, which is 3d6 in order. This is by far the most strict. 3d6 in order. Okay. There's that. It's going to create some spaces for whatever reason that did not exist in the prior number, because that's how this formatting works. But whatevs. We're good. So we're going to come here and... Alright. So we have 3d6. Start out with an 8. You are not going to be a fighter. In some editions of the game, you don't even have the ability to be a fighter. You're going to have a 12 for your dexterity. You are terribly weak with a 5 con. You are not overly smart with your 4. This might be a character that would... You'd have to take bets on whether it's going to survive character creation. But we have a 15 wisdom. So we become a dumb cleric. And that's the saving grace to this character. Or maybe you're charismatic. Maybe you're beautiful and stupid. Nope. But you can inspire some people with your 13. And that literally would be how you would do it. You'd be a weak-willed, you'd be the Doc Holliday after you've been shot in the head, cleric, and found God, who is very dumb, could barely put sentences together, but his faith inspired people. That's what you would be. You'd be a ridiculous character at that point. Alright. Let's go ahead and clear this. So now we're going to do the method that my group started back, my group did back in AD&D 2nd edition in 1989, which is 46, drop the lowest one. All right. So you take your 4d6, get rid of that 1, so that gives you a 14. come here. Before I do that, 4d6, drop lowest. And again, this doesn't have to be in any particular order. So we have a 15. Scroll this up so you can see it a little better. And then we have a 13. Then we have a 7. No, we have a 16. You can definitely see how you're getting bigger numbers. That fourth dice makes a world of difference. We have 14. And this is actually an extremely good character, in my opinion. I mean, you got your 12s. You still got your lower-ish stats. And you got 5. So this is the big one. This is when you want the 18 on. We haven't seen an 18 yet in all these dice rolls. Still not. This is going to be your GIMP stat. It's going to be your 9. So even with this, I'm going to go back to being a fighter. You have your 16 strength. Let's see here. You get your 14 con. That's not. We love a 24. Don't have that. We're gonna have your 15 con, or 14 dex, 15 con. Intelligence can be the GIMP stat 9. Wisdom, not so bad because I have good stats to go around. We'll go ahead and make this a 13 for some of the feats. There's some feats and whatnot in different editions you might want. We'll make this the 14, right? We have 14, right? We have 13. Oh, 12. That's my 12. Yep. So that would be your character in 4d6, drop the lowest 2. Now, I never did this next one. But I could see this too. It wouldn't even actually affect me. So I'm not even going to roll. I'm just going to state it because you get the general idea. But you have 4d6, drop the lowest, and re-roll any below 8. I don't know who did this one. I think the closest we ever got to this is if you didn't get +7, then we allowed you to re-roll between all of your stats. So 16 gives you 3, 14 gives you 2, so that's 5, +5, and then 17 gives you +2, which is your +7. So now you're good. Then you have +1 and +1. You actually have +9 between all of your stats, and that's, I think, about the closest we ever did to that. But you would literally do any of these, and if that 9 was a 7, you'd re-roll the whole stat. So it essentially assures that you get that. Some people then would also say this is a whole new system. Not going to name any names, but they have the 4d6. I think they're trying to fill a list, really, to be honest. Drop the lowest and replace with an 8. And this is probably something that would be more in the vein of 8th edition, where you, or 5th edition, where you would have also going down the same vein of not allowing people to fail. We have different ones. There are some people out there who do not want to play if the collection of stats is not average of 15. So it would be 4d6, drop the lowest, average of 15, or re-roll. So what would that mean? What would that look like? Let's take this here. So we're going to take 14 plus 16 is going to be 30, plus 45 is going to be 40, plus 15 is going to be 45, plus 9 is going to be 54, plus 13 is going to be 67, plus 12 would be 89. All right. No, 79. So if you were to take this and you were to go down, average that by 6, 6 goes into 79. 13 times 6 would be 78. So the average of this would be 13 and some change. So this would actually be something you would re-roll. This would not be high enough for that. To actually get to where you would have your average be 15, it'd be 15 times 6, which would be 90. You'd have to have a point total of 90 to be able to have that, aka minimum of 90 across all stats. So we're going to get way off into the weeds here. And what I found in my research is a lot of people get fidgety on the exact mins and maximums, that type of stuff. And you've kind of seen what I've done here with this one. Some of the other ones that are worth of note is going to be like this. You have the 4d6, drop the lowest, just like before. But you need 116. You need a 16. They have to start adding requirements. Okay. Just like the replace the lowest stat with an 8, that type of stuff, which is fine. Then you see stuff that where it gets a little bit gimmicky. Get back up here real quick. For my OCD's sake, I'm going to put my 3 little plus signs there. Then you see where it's going to be 4d6 with an extra caveat. Drop or re-roll ones. Drop the lowest. Okay. All right, so now we're going to come here. We're going to go to 4d6. No ones. Actually, it's going to go clear. So we have 14 starting off. We have no ones. Of course, it's not going to matter in this one at all, right? Oh, we have 2 ones. We have a 5 and a 6 we keep, and then we re-roll these 2. And replace one of the 1s with a 5. So that goes from a 13 with counting all the dice, which would really be a 12, to a 16. Not a 26. I keep wanting to make my stats beyond godlike. This one here doesn't matter. You got yourself a 13. When it matters, it matters. This one, I still even have a GIMP stat. Now here's where it can be a thing. I have a 4, 5, 6. So my minimum is 16. No. My minimum is 15. But then I get to re-roll one of these. If it's at higher, well, replace that 4 now. Now we have a 17. And you got yourself a nice paladin character. Or whatever. You can change these stats, of course, how you wanted. Of course, they would have dice as an order and all that type of stuff. But that gets kind of like, a little bit. But let me go into one that I use for Okay, I partially use this one for NPCs. Again, this is another one doesn't let you get below an 8, which I'm good with, and I think it's fine. You could roll your character just like this, and that'd be fine. This is the 2d6, which I know makes a little bit of your heart palpitations start already, but we're going to add 6 to all the dice rolls. Okay? And that's basically it. So you drop your stats down here again. I do this for quick little NPC. What is the... So I know he's a farmer, so it'd be his strength roll would be this, because at least he's going to have a 12 strength, right? At least. Oh, he's a archer, maybe. Okay, he's at least going to have this. It makes sure that stat is not gimped. And that's the important part of doing it this way. Oh, but his con, he got sick once when he was a kid, and now he just never has quite recovered. But let's see how he is for intelligence. He spent that time reading books, so now he's able to do more things because of his education. When he was there, he had a priest come see him every day, and the wisdom from that priest was there, so maybe he picked up a little faith, and he took on books on how to speak to people and all that type of stuff. So that's how his stats. What it ends up is your stats are right in the middle, and everything's good. Now here's the crazy thing: out of the 5 different dice sets I've rolled, none of them have I rolled an 18, which is pretty remarkable. Because in most game sessions you go to, you're going to find that there's someone there with an 18. It's really hard to roll an 18. My first character, I legitimately rolled an 18 doing 4d6, dropped the lowest 3, and we were able to assign it where we want, and I went into strength, of course. And when I found out that there was a bonus potential for an 18 strength as a fighter, that was exactly what I did. I was a dwarf fighter in D&D 2nd edition. And I rolled my percentile dice, and I got an 1876, which made me +2, +5, if I remember right, which was pretty outstanding. But let me go ahead and get you to a one I've seen only a couple people do ever. I like it myself. I think it is a better. I don't know what they call it. I call it the 3d6 array of 6. We're going to put these stats back down here. So these are going to be in order again. Okay, so I've got this up like that. I'm going to go ahead and clear this screen off real quick. All right, now that we got that clear, now I'm going to come here and show you how this would work. So it's a 3d6 array of 6. What that means, it is going to be, I'm going to do this 3d6 array of 6, and I'm going to put in here in order. This means that you don't really know what you're getting until you got it. So you do your 3d6. I have a very nice 15. And I go down. You don't reroll ones. Yet again, I have an 11. I have a gift staff 5, but none of this is of huge concern. I'll explain why in a second. Okay, guys. So if you were to look at that and be like, man, you're going to roll 3d6, roll 6 times, and keep the highest out of all of them, you're going to end up with 18s everywhere. No, not really. I didn't actually end up with an 18 anywhere. I have some stats that aren't even all that great. I mean, I shouldn't have anything that's absolutely abysmal. I should have moderate in every stat. But does that make a relatively good character? And the answer to me is yes. We're heroes. We're supposed to be slightly better at most things than all the other races, all the other classes. And what I found is the stats that I rolled well in, I often rolled more than once well in. I was supposed to be a cleric. This is a quintessential perfect cleric. And that's exactly what it rolled. I mean, when I look at this, the stats scream cleric. Now my lowest stat, it's better than any one of those above. Even the ones I had 17. But given enough time, those could be better. It's even better than the 3d6 reroll the ones. But you could take this array thing and be like, okay, well, Billy wants to be a fighter. So we're gonna make sure Billy can be a fighter, because that's what he really, really wants to be. So here's a different way. That even doing it the way I did above did not break the game. But here's a different way you could do it. Billy, who's brand new. Billy wants to be a fighter. We should say yes. So let's say yes. So is Billy going to be a ranged fighter or a melee or a strength-based fighter? He wants to be a strength-based fighter. Okay. So strength is going to be 3d6 array of 6. All others are different method. Pick your way. You have all these different ways. Pick it. Make sure you just pick one and then go. In this case, I'm going to do 2d6 plus 6 for other. All right, so Billy really wants to be a fighter. So we're going to roll this out. What's it here? So Billy really wants to be a fighter. So we're going to do the 3d6 array for his primary stat of strength, and then 2d6 for the other rolls. So we have an 11. The comma, little space. And we have another 11. There we go. Now we have a 16. Oops. Well, it don't matter because it's not going to be the 16 with an 11. Now, can you roll higher than a 16? The answer is no. No, you can't roll higher than a 16. You got a 10. On the 5th roll, we have a 13. And we have a 15. So now we have Billy Billy who wants to play his character with a fighter, and he has it's 15, I guess, but whatever. So now he has a 16 strength. Regardless of what edition of the game you're playing in, 16 strength is not terrible. It is never optimal, obviously. In some editions of the game, you could actually increase that to an 18, with no problems. In other editions, you just have to level up and then do it later. But they're all there. Now we're going to do 2d6 plus 6 for the rest of them. So this one here, we have a 14. Now we have our con. Oops, not what I do. So we have 11. Intelligence. He is slightly smart with his 13 intelligence. He is wise. I did too many dice. Is Billy wise? Billy is super wise. Man, he is just like really, really smart. He should be a cleric, but he won't be. Actually, we can change these positions here. That's not what I do. So we're going to change this around because I didn't say I would keep them in order, which is a good thing. And we have another 14. So let's go ahead and put that 17 in con. Let's make this 11 of wisdom. And I think basically everything else I'm okay with. I got a decent enough intelligence in some editions of game that would give you expertise, which would allow you to have more defense. 11 wisdom is not terrible. It's just a little bit below some saves in some editions. 14 charisma means that you get higher loyalty in other editions. So I like that. You have your median stats and you have your primary stat as your big one. Especially with new players who have a focus, they want to play a character and they want to last. This is the method I would recommend. And I'm not sure a whole lot of people are recommending this. I'm not sure a whole lot of people know about the array of 6 in order or out of order or whatever. I think if you're doing an array of 6 out of order, you might as well just pick your stats and go, because you're getting a little bit crazy with all that at that point in time. I like this. You have your 2d6 plus 6, put them in the order you want to kind of round out your character, and the primary focus of your stat, of what you want to play, is 3d6 array. You may or may not be good, depending on the edition of the game. You may say this is your prime requisite, so you're able to take 2 from charisma to add to, or from intelligence to add to your strength. Certain versions of the game, con and charisma, are not able to be touched. What they are is what they are. But you can adjust your wisdom, your intelligence, your dexterity, and your strength by taking 2 from one and adding it to your prime requisite, whatever that might be. The reason why you have those is because the primary requisite for magic user is intelligence, primary requisite for a cleric is wisdom, primary requisite for certain things like thieves are dexterity. So that is how that works. Okay, guys, so now we've seen the stats for Billy. For Billy's character. Let's name Billy's character. Let me know down below. I'm going to post this on some social media sites. Let me know there what you're thinking for character names for this class. And then we'll go ahead and see what people name. And I'm going to use this character in several classes. I'm going to use Billy's character in different editions and different places or whatevers, and we're going to go ahead and just use this character as part of my channel. So if you get any value of this, if you felt like you learned a new method, if you have a different method that was not up here, that's not a little fidgety, don't be super fidgety, let us know down in the comments below. And if you want to see more videos like this, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Thank you, and I hope you guys have a great day and keep rolling those dice. Bye.